strolling, far from home and horizon looking like a sunset dream. Midnight talking, water crashing, evening feeling like a postcard scene. 'Cause it's just us two, dancing with the moon, my arms wrapped around you.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of The Walk. My name's Gareth. I'm joined once again by my mate Phil.
Morning.
And we're in the village of Wortley, which is in South Yorkshire. We're going to explore a small section of the Great Central Mainline between the village of Wortley and the town of Penistone. To make sure I keep pronouncing that correctly. There's loads of remains, bridges, viaducts, tunnels, stations, the works. Should be a crack. So before we jump on the bikes, I'll get Google Maps up. So this is where we're starting now, in the village of Wortley, and we're going to follow up all the way up the valley until we get to Penistone. In that direction, heading south, you hit a place called Deep Car. There's an active line there, which is why we haven't started at that point. That would eventually be London, I guess, as this was the Great Central Main Line. And in this direction, just past Phil, we're going to head up to Penistone, and straight away we've hit a massive yard of sidings and soon the station building itself. So this section of the Great Central Main Line was originally the Manchester, Ashton under Lyme and Sheffield Railway, and it opened in 1845. Now we're going to go past a couple of stations that actually only survived for 2 years. They were closed in 1847 because the railway company was already losing money. So I'm not sure if there's going to be many remains of them, but we'll have a look. This one, however, there is absolutely remains of. Now it's a private house, so I'm not going to do obviously loads of invasive filming, but if you just look, you can see there's a section of platform, and here as well, look, there's the original platform looking amazing, and the station building just looks absolutely fantastic. Now just on the other side, Phil's just spotted that, look, remains of a platform, because it was a double track line, and you can just see there you've got the crest on the station building. Once again, the platform, and I'm pretty sure there's a crest on the station building there as well. So we're cycling away now, straight onto a bridge immediately. Now the reason that station, Wortley Station, has got those sort of fancy engravings on it is because that booking hall, the one with the glass, that was actually built as a private waiting room for a local earl. Now there's a hall not far from here called Wortley Hall, and so part of the deal of building a station, was that he got a fancy booking hall just for himself. So we've got farm access here. Now I'm just looking, has that got any kind of bits of steel work on it?
Yeah,
There we go, so there's a little bit of steel work there, you can just see to the left. Now the reason I was looking out for those little bits of metalwork are because this was actually electrified in the 1950s. Now we'll come up to some tunnels a little bit later on at Thurgoland, which is a great name, sounds like a theme park. Thurgoland Tunnel, and you'll see what they had to do there in order to get this electrification in. So this railway was opened in 1845, and then it was taken over by the Great Central Railway as part of their Great Central Main Line between Manchester and London in 1897. And then they opened that extension a couple of years later down to London. Now the stations that we've just left, basically Wortley, that remained open until 1950, and then at that point it was all electrified, and I'm going through massive puddles here, it's pretty grim. It was all electrified, and it ran for passengers, this line, until 1970, eventually going in 1981, because the major collieries in this region by that point were all pretty much done. So we're in a bit of a cutting for a second, and now it's opening out, and now suddenly we can see this beautiful South Yorkshire countryside. Now, there was a station called Thurgoland, again, theme park, but we don't know where it is. And Phil, you were actually looking on old maps, weren't you? And it's not even showing up in the 1840s.
No, if it only ran for less than 2 years, but we might be able to find some clues looking at village access and the width of the track bed, but there's no way you're going to find anything really. Nah,
so it's a tough one. No idea what they look like. I'm assuming not very big stations though, even originally, because we are very, very rural. So when the Great Central Main Line was closed as a result of the beaching cuts, as so many lines were in this country, in the mid-60s, this section actually remained open, basically as an express line between Sheffield and Manchester, which is interesting because actually when the line was originally opened in 1845, long before the Great Central, that was the line. That's what it was meant for. It was meant to go from Manchester Store Street and Sheffield Victoria, which again is, well, it's gone. It's a hotel, I think. I think there's still quite a few remains there, but it's not a station anymore. So we're starting to open up now, and we're not far out of the village of Thurgoland. Can't get over that name, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. I keep wanting to say Legoland.
It is like that, isn't it? Thurgoland. So, I mean, that looks, because there is a retaining wall over there as well, that looks like that's intentional. And you're saying that there was a colliery here as well, maybe
there was
that's the branch?
Really old incline with a line coming off here that went up to a very ancient colliery. And I mean, whether that's it forking off or whether it's a station here, it's up for debate.
Yeah, because they'd have to have sorting sidings and stuff, wouldn't they, coming down from the colliery then before moving on to this line. It opens up and just through those trees, that's Thurgoland. So this is my theory. I think this is the station,
Let's
mate.
go for it then, yeah.
Yeah. The beauty of it not showing up on maps either means that we can't be disproved, can we, Phil?
No, so no one knows whether it's
so we're saying it is, and therefore it is, isn't it? So here you go, look, there's a bridge and there's a road down into Thurgoland. So to me it makes total sense that the access would be off that road and into the area we were just in. So we're coming up to the tunnel already. There's Thurgoland Tunnel. Now here is a foot crossing, so this has made me think, is this the station, Phil? I'm still clinging to the fact I think it's the one back there, but there is a potential that we're wrong on that.
Yeah, because if this were wider and I'd have gone for a bay island in the middle and that had been a bridge with one set of stairs going down, but it ain't, is it?
No.
It's just too narrow. Is it narrow enough for 2 little platforms to go? I don't know.
No,
I
maybe
think
not.
It's just the occupation bridge going over that's been knocked down now. Maybe when they electrified it and they had to hire a lot of structures, that just went.
Yeah, yeah,
you know.
yeah. So you can see the tunnel in the distance there. Now this tunnel isn't the original. The original one is still there. We'll go and have a look, but you can't actually get inside that one like you can this one. So the original one was built in 1845 along with the rest of the line, and it was double tracked through it. Then when they electrified this in the 1950s, they had to build another tunnel because the heights basically didn't add up. They couldn't get 2 lines with all the electric gear on top through that tunnel. So they made the double tunnel a single one by moving the track into the middle, and they built this one brand new, and I'm pretty sure there's a sign on it which actually says 1947 or 1948, so maybe that's when they built it then, obviously knowing they were going to electrify in the 50s. So there's the later tunnel. That's the one we're going to go through in a minute on the bikes. But this round here was the original one. So all this has been excavated later, obviously. That wasn't the line. The line came through here. So we've jumped off the bikes. Phil's getting his torch. Because as you can see, they filled it in, but not all the way to the top. Torches at the ready for this one. You've got head torch as well, haven't you?
Got a lot, mate.
Serious. It really is. I was expecting it to kind of slip away underfoot, but it's not. I guess though, because they had so many collieries around here, finding some spoil to fill up the tunnel is a pretty easy gig. Look at that. Oh, amazing. Right. What can we see? Is there a big disappointment, or can we actually?
No, but,
oh wow!
They've actually bricked up at one stage, look, and it's just gone.
Yeah.
Get this one. See what's going on.
Oh yeah.
That stinks like a tunnel as well.
It really does.
The size of these.
Oh.
Christ almighty.
I know, they're not playing games, are they?
No.
So what we're expecting to see is some kind of overhead, you know, gantries or whatever. So I'll have a little slide down to see if I can't see what we're looking for here. Oh, jeez Louise. Okay, so it's actually pretty slippery. Now, I mean, that brickwork there is hanging on for dear life. I mean, that would have strengthened it then, wouldn't it? But it's weird because it's like, there's your original tunnel, then they've strengthened it like 4 bricks deep. There's another 2 bricks deep and another further down as well. So I'm not sure why that is. Oh, geez, I thought you were coming into the back of me then. That sounded daunting. Right, so what there should be in the ceiling, because there's still ballast in here, is some kind of remnant of the electrification. Oh, there it is, I can see it. Look there, you see the metal hanging out the rock there. Yeah, you can just make it out. They look like pretty small bolts though, don't they? But yeah, man, amazing. Maybe stuff on the side there as well, look. Oh, mate. Yeah, you still got the wiring. That's awesome. So that's a darn sight easier to get out than it was to get in. I was filming myself then going down, as I always do if you watch the channel, because I figure if I'm going to stack it, I want you to see it. And I really thought, because I could hear Phil making a racket behind me, I expected him to clean me up. Fortunately not. Okay, so you jump back on the bikes now, and we're going to head through that newer tunnel, which is still, you know, best part of 100 years old, but newer than that. Phil, do you remember this railway running? Did you ever go on it?
I didn't travel on it, but I used to come and watch the locos at the depot, Wath, yeah. About 81, 80, just remember we used to go to Mexborough and then we used to walk to Wath depot and look over the bridge, you'd see all the electric locos.
So that's further down this same line, is it?
Yeah, it's on the other one, it's on the, well yeah, it's not part of this line as such, it's the other branch, the Worsborough branch that used to go down to Wath, and that's where the traction changed over from electric to diesel to continuous.
So they used to have to swap the engines?
That was the exchange point, yeah.
So was that part of why they closed it, do you think? Because it was just a pain to do that?
Well, it weren't economical, to be honest. Keep changing, because remember, if something were coming over from, let's say, Liverpool, and it was going south, it had changed from diesel to electric over on the Manchester side. Now the electric's on here, then it'd change again, either at Rotherwood or on the other line at Wath. You know, all this loco changing, it's just not
not going to fly, is it? So here we go, 1947 it says there then, LNER, so London North Eastern Railway, and then it says BR 1948, British Railways. So I don't think they're necessarily to do with when it was actually built.
But when was BR formed?
1948.
So they put their own, so...
Yeah, so it's an interesting one. So we're in that single tunnel now, and just above you'll see there's those little sort of rectangular blocks. Now these, I mean that sound is amazing. That is where the electrification sat. You just see that in that block there.
Have you noticed that they had to hold the wire, that them blocks would have been to avoid having a downward overhang to, you know, keep the dimensions as high as possible for the, you know, pantographs on the locos. So the stuff holding the wire up was actually fitted inside the bore as opposed to, you know, it hanging down.
I mean, Phil, your voice is booming at the best of times, yeah, mate, but...
Yeah, my voice, well, if I start singing in here, it won't be, you know.
Wow. That sound is insane.
That reverb is it's unbelievable, isn't it?
It really is. Right, check this out. I'll be quiet for a minute. Still going. That is crazy. So we stopped the bikes because Phil's going to explain this better. Look at that. So there's a really good shot of it.
Yeah, it's, obviously dimensions in this tunnel are pretty tight, and if you look at the locos that used to come through here, they had really quite high pantographs. So to avoid any kind of dimension issues, they actually built the supports kind of, how should I put that, within the lining, so that all that had to hang off there was the minimal amount of infrastructure, and the wires, you know, would have been really, really close, you know, to the top arch, shall we say, just along here. to save space. So it's clever how they've done it, and whether they've been able to have done that in Victorian times, you know, is a different story. But these are all precast, aren't they? But you know, you'll see on footage how low the pantographs on the locos are when they come out. They're almost flat as opposed to, you know, being up.
I would love to hear a full band in there. It would be insane. Right, okay, so it's the same the other end, obviously. There's the other original tunnel. Should just go and have a quick look at. I'm not sure we're going to need the torches for this one, Phil.
No, there's no way two lines would have gone through there with electric.
No way, no. So you're saying this is a back colony? A lot of them are, aren't they, actually?
Could be, they've left the door, but obviously the bats aren't getting out of that, it's blocked.
Yeah, there's a little hatch there to the left.
Yeah, but I think someone's giving that a bang, haven't they?
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah. They put a small couple of bricks missing at the top, but it's not bricked up, but perhaps it's not a back colony. If it were, it'd be protected, they wouldn't they'd have made more precautions on the other end, wouldn't they?
Yeah, true. Amazing though.
But you know what, I reckon the what's-its are missing off top of there.
Yeah, because they had like little castle, type style coping stones, didn't they?
Turret weird things, didn't they? So
yeah.
They've been knocked down or they've been vandalised or whatever.
Yeah, or maybe they thought they were dangerous and going to come down. Yeah, a lot of the time on the Great Central and a lot of these lines, yeah. So we've had a look at those Thurgoland tunnels. Amazing, the acoustics are just unbelievable. We're going to trek on now. Now there was another station called Oxspring, but that was another one of those that went in 1847, so we don't expect to see remains or even know where it is, but we'll have another guess. And then after that, it's Penistone, and there's a bucket load of remains there. So we're in a cutting, obviously you see the both sets of tunnels are there. Now there's some stairs there. I'm wondering if there was a signal box there or something.
Recess, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And there's stairs to something. Now we've got another bridge, and then where that lad is running in the distance, I'm guessing it's a lad, I don't actually know.
By the way, he weren't a lad, but I'll tell him when he go past that you thought you were a lad.
Was it a woman?
No, it was someone that weren't a lad, a lot older, mate.
Oh, okay, an old lad. Where he's running is a viaduct. This would have been an absolutely stunning line in the day. It's uphill at the minute, which means obviously my legs are working overtime. But it would have meant that the steam engines would have been working overtime as well, especially on a cold day. They'd have been coming up here, it would have looked amazing visually, like all that steam. Right, now, just coming up a slight little incline, and we're on the viaduct. Now, unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately, I mean it stops people falling off, doesn't it? But it's got like a modern fencing on it. So I'll try and find some old pictures if I can, to see what this looked like originally, but where it's so rural, I don't know if there'll be any, but I'll try. So not a massive viaduct, but it just looks great in the landscape. And what's it called again, Phil?
Oh, Rumtickle?
Rumtickle Viaduct.
There used to be a kids' program called Tickle on the Tum. Do you remember that?
Tickle on the Tum? Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Don't remember that one.
Sorry.
Yeah, Rumtickle Viaduct, which is a weird name, innit? But quite cool. So we're not far from Penistone now. Very shortly, the Barnsley line will join us to the right, and we'll basically be running alongside each other for a while. And then there's a lot of remains of the old Great Central Station here, including an engine turntable.
Oh yeah.
Which mate, I've only ever seen photos, but it looks epic. So we're right on the outskirts of Penistone now. Do you think that's one that's been raised as well, Phil?
Well, they've got that plinth, haven't they, a couple of these bridges have, and if that were built in 18...
Yeah, that's not 1845, nah.
I don't think. It'd be a bit more cruder, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So they've... Yeah. I mean, I'm just looking here. I mean, Oxspring Station could be here, couldn't it? Because we're in a more built-up area now. It could be.
Very fast, leading down.
Yeah. Oh, mate. We'll never know. Or will we? Maybe we will. I can imagine myself on my deathbed, surrounded by my grandchildren. Is there anything you wish you'd done, Grandad? Yeah, I wish I'd found Oxspring Station. So it looks like we're just on that Great Central track bed, but it's opening up now. Obviously the trees have come and had some of it, and it opens up all the way there, and there's a big retaining wall as well. Now, well, these are all lines, Phil?
Yeah, I think it sort of spread out into several lines when you approach Penistone, mate, and Penistone Junction were an amazing wide area of tracks. You just could not imagine it now. Look at this, just a load of trees.
Yeah. So this is where we join for a little bit with the active line, the Barnsley line. So we're just going to kind of cling to the side of it. Now that goes into Penistone Station, which is all still there. But the platforms we're coming to look at, the Great Central platforms, they're, I think, fenced off, but you can see them. So that's quite cool. And then just to the left of the line, where there would have been plenty of sidings and stuff, because this whole area, you can see those industrial units. If you just look on old maps, the amount of lines and sidings and stuff, it would have been absolutely crazy. That's where this turntable was. So I'm assuming then there would have been an engine shed at that point as well. Again, I'll try and find some old photos on old maps to show exactly what was there. So just through there, that's the track bed we've been following of the Great Central Railway. We've just jumped off to the side because here was a series of sidings, but more than just that. So let's try and get our bearings. Now that building there is through there. So obviously all these trees are a recent addition. Now that is a tank loading platform. So if you come here, you can see this was where during World War II they were loading tanks up and on to the back of trains here. I mean, that's incredible. So you'd have had, you know, the engines coming up, you'd have had some form of buffer there, and then those tanks would have just rolled up off the road and on, and then off to northern France, I guess. Unbelievable. Now, we're in the middle of the sidings now, so we'll carry on through the sidings, and that's where this engine turntable is. But look at that. That's incredible. That doesn't matter where you go in this country, there is history literally everywhere. This is a cycle path just through some woods at the edge of Penistone, and there you've got World War II tank loading platforms. It's just amazing. From World War II to Victorian, look at that. That is an engine turntable dating back, I would imagine, from the birth of the Lyme, so 1845. It's vast, isn't it? You don't realise just how big those locos were. Absolutely amazing. Now I'm seeing something over there as well. Can you see it? There's some kind of stonework in the woods there. I'm going to go and have a look at that. So I'm walking around the edge of this amazing turntable, and I can feel some sort of wooden sleepers. Hang on! I've got all excited by a chair. Actually, still fixed, mate. That's not going anywhere.
Nice one.
And we've got a concrete sleeper here, look. So there's the lines going off there then to join the main line. So the engines are coming on, and then obviously being turned around or what have you and sent off on other lines there. Amazing, mate. Right, now I spotted something up here. Massive disappointment now I've got here, but... What? Hang on! I'm not sure what that is. There is a sleeper, but this is to do with the overhead wires then. Here. Well, very good question. But look at the wiring all coming out. Mate, unless it's just been dumped there, like.
God knows what that is.
Yeah. But these would have housed wires.
Maybe it's something to do with mechanics at turntable. But normally they just plugged in the vacuum brake pipe, didn't they, of the engine to get.
So it basically powered itself around.
Powered itself, yeah.
Mate, that's incredible.
Well, there's pictures out there, so you'll have a look what it shows.
Yeah, I will. So obviously, once the steam went, then when the Great Central Main Line went in the 1960s, steam was done. What were they using here then, Phil?
Yeah, they built some electric locos for it. They built quite a few. There were 2 series of them. And then 1970, when the express duties stopped, they had a surplus of locos because they were exclusively only be able to be used on this overhead system because the voltage, the running gear was different. It couldn't be put somewhere else on the railways in Britain. They just didn't match up. So the State Railways of Netherlands bought 7 of them and shipped them over there. They'd already had experience of when they loaned one once before, so they knew what they were going to get. So they had 7 of them and they went over there and they ran until mid-80s. So it just shows you they were redundant in 1970. They ran for another 25 years, and out of them 7, 3 were kept. One's in Holland, one's in a museum in Manchester, another one's on our doorstep at Wortley. It's in the big engine shed at Wortley.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, it's still there now.
Amazing. That's incredible, that turntable. It is vast. I hope you're getting... Hang on! There's some sort of lighting in the trees. Well, in my defence, it looks like a tree. I can't see the light for the trees. Look at that. Mate, it really would actually, to be fair. That is awesome. Oh mate, there's so many things just hidden. That is absolutely amazing. It's so unreal. I'll put a picture up now that Phil just took of me stood in the middle, just so you can really see the size of that. It's incredible. Now I was just seeing on the notice board there, it was saying that 2 men could push that turntable round with a 100-ton engine on it because it was so well balanced. To me, Victorians are just next level, engineering wise.
They wouldn't be doing it these days with health and safety, that's for sure.
No, that's true. So here's Penistone Station. These then are a foundation block. So there's the image of what it would have looked like then. And you can see there as well, that would have had the overhead cables on there. So, oh, we timed it to perfection. It's almost like we planned it. There we go, look, there's a train coming in. This is the Barnsley line. So this is the active railway. So it was a joint station, but not a joint station, basically.
Well, yeah, 2 different operating companies running out of it, weren't they, yeah?
Yeah. I've got to get the train in. It's not on the Great Central, but I can't ignore it. There you go. And then down here, these are the platforms for the Great Central Mainline. Incredible. So if the trains didn't stop at Penistone, they would have thundered through here, Phil.
Yeah, I guess they'd have come through at a certain amount of speed, yeah. But
Amazing.
I mean, that view there, you wait till you put some footage of that, you just couldn't recognise it.
Of the Great Central going off there.
Just no, side by side with there's so many running lines and overhead workings for the, you know, electrification. It's one of the most
unrecognisable,
changed
basically.
scenes I think I've ever seen in my
Really?
life. Yeah.
And we've seen a few of them, to be fair.
Yeah.
So that's us. I've seen so much stuff in the last couple of hours, I can't even remember where we started.
Yeah, there's quite a lot in a short stretch, weren't there? Really?
Wortley. We started at Wortley. I actually had to think then to remember because we've seen so much stuff in between. Amazing. So we've walked the Great Central Main Line between Wortley up to Penistone. I can't get over that turntable. Incredible. Hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching. As always, sorry mate. Cheers, Phil.
Yeah, see you later, mate.